Topic: the forms of British colonial exploitation. Instruments used for colonial exploitation. The main instruments of exploitation used by Britishers in India. First, listen the core points. Later we will discuss the topic in detail, covering all areas required for UPSC CSE in detail. Our classes will be highly interactive in nature, clearing all your doubts. Don't worry, prepare well. UPSC CSE is a competitive exam only. Here you have to focus to get maximum marks in mains written examination. Study GS, prelims cum mains point of view. First, listen the core points. Later we will discuss the topic in detail, covering all areas required for UPSC CSE. Instruments of exploitation used by Britishers in India. First point, unequal trade. Restrictions and high import duties on import of Indian fabrics into England. Virtually free and unrestricted imports into India. Indian small-scale industries forced to face unrestricted competition from imported machine-made goods. Indian handicrafts steadily lost ground. Principle of free trade up to 1923 ruled out any protection to Indian industry. India was transformed from an exporter of cotton fabrics and other handicraft products to a source of food and raw material and a market for British manufactured finished products. The pattern of trade became unequal in nature. We will discuss unequal trade in detail. We can add more subpoints under unequal trade. Trade became unequal under British rule due to trade policies implemented by Britishers. Foreign trade became more favorable for Britain at the cost of India. We will discuss unequal trade in detail later. Next, second instrument of exploitation used by Britishers. Profitable export of British capital and enterprises to India. Point 2. Profitable export of British capital and enterprises to India. Third instrument used by Britishers in India. Point 3. Employment of British nationals in the colonial administration at high salary and perks. British officers enjoyed high salary and perks here in Indian administration. Another flow of money from India to Britain. Next, fourth instrument, fourth point, drain of Indian resources in the form of excess mercantile exports. Drain of Indian resources in the form of excess mercantile exports. Next, fifth point, fifth form of exploitation used by Britishers. Manipulation of exchange rate to the advantages of Britain and to the disadvantages of India. Next, sixth point, adoption of preferential tariff favorable to Britain. Adoption of preferential tariff favorable to Britain. Next, seventh form of exploitation used by Britishers. Exploitation of India's resources exploitation of India's resources for the purpose of conquest and war in the initial stages of their conquest of India. Britishers plundered countries' wealth and resources by extractions by the company and its servants. Next, point 9. The Britishers abused the privilege of duty-free international trade. 10th point. Next form of exploitation, point 10. Oppression and exploitation of artisans, indigo cultivators and merchants. Next form of exploitation used by Britishers in India. Point 11. Taking over surplus revenue. Here we notice 11 instruments used by Britishers here in India. We can add more points here. Forms of colonial exploitation. Next, the detailed discussion of instruments of colonial exploitation used by Britishers in India. We will discuss one by one in detail. Detailed discussion of unequal trade.